Welcome to Slow Stitching on a Saturday afternoon. I just got back a few hours ago from a trip to my Southern Crossing Antique Mall, and I found some goodies that I'm going to be sharing, and then I had lunch with my husband, and home we came, and I am having an urge to stitch. So I thought I would take you through where I have gotten to. So, if you will remember, this is the fabric that I bought by the yard from Hobby Lobby, and the last time you saw this, it was on a frame, but it is at the point now where I wouldn't want to use a frame. In other words, I can just gather anything that I want to do. I can just gather it up in my hands if I want to and stitch. So, I laid this flat, and behind it, I laid a 9-10 by 13-inch piece of facing for quilting that I also got at Hobby Lobby. So here it is, laid down, and this piece is pinned to it. But let's review, for those of you who are tuning in for the first time. I started by putting down these two pieces and these three, but before I did that, I want to draw my path. In other words, set into my mind exactly what the composition was about, and I used this color, green, to just do long straight stitches just to set in my mind where things were going to work. So that was this color. And when you're doing things like this, you want to try to make it more interesting by changing your coloration. So that came next. So it was just some really long stitches plunking down the stems. Then I used my ribbon, cut it out in a rather helter-skelter way, and laid them down on the fabric to see where they were going to be placed. And after I turned off the camera, I did the same thing over here. You saw me do this one, I believe, or this one, placing the veins in this leaf, and for the leaf veins I used this lighter shade. So first we had this, and then this is the color of the veins in the leaves. And I looked at it and walked around it and thought about it and decided that these stems were still kind of pitiful. So I took out some of my very nice floss. This is cotton floss, but it is a better quality than this. And although I have seen now that the DMC in Michaels and AC Moore is now selling variegated skeins of cotton. This is, as you can see, many shades of green. So I used the many shades of green to put chain stitch or daisy stitch right over that line of the original large stitches, just to lay the tracks. So I just went up and came up, around, down, came up through the loop, down, and so forth, over and over again, and got that. I still was not happy with it. I decided that it needed some more depth. So, if you can see, in each one of these daisies, I took the third shade of green, a nice dark one. So these are the ones that we have used so far. 3 shades of green, and I used this nice dark one, and I stitched right in the chain, and this is no more than up down. In other words, I came up here, I came up here, down here, under, up here, down, up, down, inside the chain. So simple, and yet as you can see, it does give a nice look to that stem. So after I had that done, I finished each one of these. Then I decided that this is black thread right here is large stitches to show the center. So I decided to play on the back a bit. I have not done that much over here. But while we were doing this, I talked about doing one of these flowers in the same way, which I did. So I had some, this is some pink cheesecloth wadded up and glued down. And on top of it is a glued down, congratulate me, I didn't stitch it, I glued it, glued down piece similar to the ones down here. And I took another one, I decided I could use another one of these over here. That got glued down. And then I went into my lace stash, and I'll show you where it comes from. This is Joann Fabrics lace by the yard. And so I cut it apart and put the first layer down, glued, and glued the second layer, which is the center of that flower. So all of this now that you see here is glued down. I decided this was a little bit empty, so I cut out 2 more of these and added them over here. And then while I was wallowing about in my white lace bin, I found these. And I think these are from Hobby Lobby by the yard. And I'd only have a few left. And I chose this really fancy-dancy one. I decided that's going to be the center of that flower. And I will glue that down. This one, the plainer one, I thought I needed that on the front since I had 2 on the back. So I placed this at the tip of this stem and glued it, and this next to this stem because this flower is at the tip. So I glued that down. Then I'm starting to really get a feel for this and quite liking it. But I've decided now that that part is at this point. I would share with you the workings on this side. I'm going to pull that one up and that one and get it out of harm's way. And these are still pinned down. So let's have a little Fabri-Tac. And let me remove these pins. And as you can see, what we have underneath here, let me go get you closer. That's the glued down and stitched. I did put some stitches here. I did not stitch up here. I decided to rise above my natural inclination to do that. It's the cheesecloth is glued, and the cheesecloth is glued, and the motif is glued on top. So make sure I've got the right side up here, because there is definitely, if you look at the stitches, there is a righty. Oh, okay. So come on, Fabri-Tac. There you go. Waking up, please. I so don't trust glue. So just going to put a bit in the center, and on each one of the 4 petals, a little bit, and a little bit here. I don't want to put too much because I'm going to be stitching on top of these. So down that goes. And let's get this one. Yes, that's the back. Okay. Here we go for that one. And this one. Oh, yes. That's the back. And that one. And then at the very end, I will plop that down in the middle. Not now, however. So, let's go over here. Let me take this this pretty off, and this is so easy to glue on. And since I won't be doing any stitching through this, that will be no problem. Let me get that out of harm's way. Now, I have this one. It's on top, so I'm going to leave it here. And it's, yes, it's pinned down, so I'm going to just put that over here and let it stay. And now, I'm at the chore of pinning this down. And okay, let's see, we have to have something a little bit, oh my goodness. Persnickety glue. Okay. Just the tiniest bit here on the main petals, and that permits me to stretch it out and lay it down. Right. Now, this should work. Yes, it will. Okay, this has to come away. And this pin is doing that because it's going into this thick facing here. So, let's see if it's going to continue to aggravate me. I guess it is. I'm sorry, I'm griping and grumbling here. I'm just trying to be good and face the fact that things can be glued down. Okay. Each one of these chain stitches has so many double crochets on it. It's quite a job of work to get each one of those done. Now, some here and here. Come on. And there. Get that pressed down. Get the pin out. The only good thing about this is that it comes off my nails with 91% alcohol. Let's get this pulled out and over and down so that the prettiness shows. How much of this is going to show? Okay. Just this little bit right here. and right there. Now, this one is coming on. I'm going to leave that one and take this pin out. And make sure that that's right side up. Yes, it is. Okay, now. Down it goes. And just a little bit on these. I'm not sure yet what kind of embroidery I'm going to do on top of this. So that's why I don't want too much of this glue on here. I guess I do see the point of this gluing. When the glue decides to cooperate with me, it certainly is less work. Now, let's get this turned around. All right. And this on. There, okay. I want that to come down a bit. Let's get a complete look. Yes. And this right here. So, okay, now I had one more thing I wanted to share with you, and that is that I did some old-fashioned an old-fashioned quilting technique because of the pattern of this just being squares stitched together, but it is stitched beautifully because they serged the edges of each piece before they sewed them together. So this is certainly not going to fall apart or fray or do anything unforeseen under there. So I just looked at each one of these where the four pieces of the of this quilting look hit, and I decided to do the tide effect. Now, when people used old clothing and cut them up and put them together, they could be warm overcoats, they could have been men's work pants, what we would call dungarees now, or heavy anything to make a blanket. In a lot of cases, the women put these squares together by hand. Probably didn't even finish the edges, but put them together by hand, and then of course maybe wanted to have something underneath to keep warm, so as not to have to spend too much time or too much expense, because spools of thread in those days were not cheap. They tied these or they tied the motifs together, and that kept the quilted woolen sweaters, jackets, dungarees, ladies' worn out skirts that were all brought together to make for warmth. That tie connected the quilt top to the underlying fabric, and as you can see here, these are the way this is going to be connected to the journal cover right here. So let me show you how very, very easy that is to do. Let's see, I was up to here, and I left this one. There's one hiding under here because I wanted to be sure that this would stay together. So use the floss, but this time I'm not. I didn't separate it because it actually works better in this case. Just being put into the needle and threaded. This way. Okay, that would be the way you would knot it. However, in this case, no knots, because we're going to pick our spot. I'm putting my hand underneath the piece, the way I'll be doing the rest of the stitching, coming down from the outside. Now these two, this is a machine made, and a lot of quilters would say, "Oh my goodness, these four corners don't meet. It doesn't make a difference." It certainly doesn't make this look any less pretty, does it? So down from the top. Okay, leave out your tail so that you have something to knot. Come back up, not exactly in the same hole, and not very far away, so as you can see where the needle and the thread is, and up it goes, and enough to make a knot. Cut it off, tie it off with two knots, one nice and tight, two nice and tight, hold them up, cut them off at about the same length. It doesn't have to be exact. This is not going to the moon. And there we go. So I have just a few more of those to do, but I thought I would do those on my own. But that's the effect of a tied quilt. And now I decided that I would pick these two. I would pick these two to play in today. So I got my. There is quite a nice selection of blue in this, so I said, let me hit the blues. What will I use? What will I use? This is variegated blue, but is it a blue that we like? It's got a little bit of red in there. It's kind of purpley. So that's the same thing. Is that better? Is that better? Wonder Art Perline embroidery cotton, and it is not. It is twisted, so it is just one possibility. Not this one. Now that I look at it, it's too purple, but that's certainly blue. Now, what else do we have here? What else have we here? that too blue? Right now, maybe it is. These are silks. Same story. And these are iridescent and variegated and so forth. This has a future, but not right now. Ooh. Oh, yes. This is silk, but the color might be excellent. Let's see. Okay, which one do we like? Oh, okay, now let's just see again. We need something darkish. We need something darkish. This is 30 years or more of floss use. Maybe that one. I'm going to go through these drawers and put all of these DMCs in a plastic bag, because these cheap rubber bands dry out and die very quickly. Let's see, do we like that? That would go with that blue, wouldn't it? How about something a little lighter? That's lighter. Decisions, decisions, will they never end? Oh. I'll put down one more choice, because after a while you find it hard to make your decision, because you have too many choices. Now I'm going to do two and make a decision. All right, let's see. This has got a little bit of yellow in it. This might be too dark. Yes, it might. This isn't hefty enough. So, executive decision has been made. And it's not as though this is going to be just one layer. So, let's have some of this. And of course, in this case, unlike this, I'm going to strand this. And because this is slow stitching, I'm going to make it a nice long thread, so I don't have to change it very often. If you'll notice, you just tease the ends, grab one strand, hold it in your fingers, and slide it out. And no matter how bad and crazy this looks, it just falls out. It's wonderful. It's magic. And the last two right here. You just put that down and it went away, Carol. Okay, we'll solve this problem now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait a minute. 2, 4, 5. That's what I thought. Okay. One of you is hiding. Not going to be allowed. I'm going to use all 6 strands. There you are. There you are. Okay, all 6 strands. And once they've been separated like that, it is almost impossible to make them misbehave. So, now I really, at this point, have no idea what I'm going to do, but I'm going to do it with a vengeance. And you thought you were going to get away with that, didn't you? Okay. Not happening. Let's get a little bit, let's get some closer here. 1, 2, 3. Bingo. Okay. What do I want to do here? How about some French knots in the center? Come up, the thread in your left hand, the needle in your right. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do a 4. And back down in almost the same hole. And through we go. And let's put a whole bunch of them over there. Make it an interesting center on this left hand, needle in the right, or vice versa. 1, 2, 3, 4. Back down. And pull through. And I'll do that quite a few more times. Let's do another one. I'll put this very close so that you can see what a properly made French knot looks like. Up. 1, 2, 3, 4. Down. Now it makes absolutely no difference that interfacing, that thick interfacing is here. Boop. Now I'm not going to settle for just 3, but I want you to have a look and see. Okay, let's go, camera. Let's go. Okay, that's what they look like. They almost look like little flowers or little buds for flowers. All right, let's have some more. Let's make a nice cluster. And it has to be odd numbers, just because that's the way nature works. I'm going to put 1 right in here. Sorry. Let me come out just a little bit so that you can see it and I don't have to keep looking up. I haven't got an eye that goes up and one that goes down. Okay. Up. One, 2, 3, 4. Down in almost the same place. And there's number 4. Here will be number 5. We'll come over here for number 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and down. Alrighty, now, what else are we going to do there? What else are we going to do there? I'm thinking I want to do some growth lines, and okay, that's just the knot, no problem, and no one is ever going to see this, so I'm just going to Okay, as I said, this is not going to be inspected by the slow stitching police. Okay. Off. Now, I'm thinking do I want, let's just see if we can take out 3 strands. 1, the needle is still there. 2, maybe 2. Maybe I'll take out, let's see, that's too heavy. I'll take out 4. Take out 4, 3. And 4. And you can wait in the wings. Now, let's have some growth lines. All right. Let's do this now. And about the middle. The middle, yes. Whoa, you see, it just had to do that. See if I was paying attention. Certainly, wrap itself around that pretty flower. Okay, here's 1. Making sure not to mess up our Frenchies there. 2. 3. Now, do we want any more than that? I don't know. If we want, we can always go around again. Let's just stay away from the French knots now. 1. It feels so good to hold this fabric because it's got that backing on it now. Might be going through some glue. And I'm not going to say that it wouldn't happen if it was just all stitched, but I'm just going to find another spot for the needle. Growing up is not easy. Okay, now let's see what we have, what the look is, and then I'm going to finish up this flower and this one. Oh yes, that little bit of bringing out that little bit of blue, and if you'll notice, it's nice and dimensional. See those French knots sticking up there? Okay, I'm just going to do this one and this one in the blue. This one, I'm going to be very outspoken with a darker color for that one. So that's my plan. And then there are those. Maybe more this color on these. Oh, but that's got a pink background. There is some aqua here. Oh yes, there is some aqua. Might be pretty on the front. Might be pretty on the front. Well, here we go again. Did we find any of that in here? No. We might find it in green. If we're going to find it, we might find it in green. Never been much of an aqua stitcher. Don't tell me I have to, do I actually have to buy more floss? Now let's see what we think here. Oh, I wish I could hear your opinion on this. Let's see. That might do. That might do. We will see. So, this is where we have gotten to. So I'm going to finish tying. I'm going to finish these two blues. Maybe do some aqua on these three. And let's get the pink drawer going. And maybe, oh, and maybe something that makes a statement here. Let's see. This is what it looks like with no rubber band. Oops, that's pearl cotton. Out of the way. What is going to work here? Oh, wow. I don't know what color that is, but it sure works well. It certainly works well with this. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Yes, it does. And it works well with that little tiny bit over here. That's going to go here. This is going to go here. I'm going to finish up these. So, I do hope that you have enjoyed sharing this with me. So I'm going to enjoy some of my chai. And sit and stitch for a bit. And you'll notice I am just making believe that's not there because I have no plan in mind yet for this. But it's got to be something serious. So, if you have enjoyed, again, please give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, and I would appreciate your subscribing to my channel. More so slow stitching to come.